Hi, Henrietta. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How about yourself?
Oh, doing awesome. The weather is finally cooling down over here,
Oh, yes.
which is very nice.
Yes, it is.
I'm happy about that, and just happy to be here today, hanging out. We're going to be talking about customer service, calling customer service, whether you're calling or chatting. There's a lot of different ways that we get in touch with customer service in this day and age, and there's so many different companies that we potentially are calling that we really, we could use some advice.
Okay.
So that's why I brought you here. But I will go ahead and get us officially started and start with our introduction here. I want to welcome everyone and definitely thank you for joining us today here at Copper State Credit Union. We are here for an Ask Our Experts session on how to win when calling or chatting with customer service. Just a little bit about us, Copper State Credit Union. If you're new here, welcome. We serve over 43,000 members across Arizona. Can you believe the number is up to 43,000?
And growing.
I know, every day. It's so exciting. But we serve most of the state of Arizona. So, most of the counties, if you live, work, or worship in most of Arizona, we can be your credit union. And we really value family and empowerment. We want to empower Arizona families to find financial success in whatever that means for you. It means something different to everybody, right? So it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. So it's a little bit about us here at Copper State Credit Union, and I was able to convince Henrietta, the Director of Digital Banking, to join me today. And the reason why I asked you, Henrietta, is because you have so much experience in the industry. So Henrietta has been with us at Copper State Credit Union for 6 years. You've been in the banking world for about 15, yes. Right? Yes. And then in some capacity working in customer service for 25 years. So, man, I just give you all the all the credit in the world for that, because that is quite some time to be in customer service, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say. You've shared that you love the dynamic aspect of your job, yes, and just how much can change on a day-to-day basis, really helping your team members as they go through that. And some fun facts about Henrietta. She loves watching her grandkids play sports, and then they love to take on that coach role, right, and help you, yes, as you get out there and play. You were actually in, remind me what tournament it was, the Sports Illustrated?
Yeah, baseball tournament, yeah.
That is awesome. That was like last week, right?
Yes. Many years ago.
All right, so yes, very excited to have you today. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
So a couple of questions I'd like for everyone to think about is, do you love talking on the phone? So is being on the phone your jam? All day long, you want to be on the phone. If that's you, that's awesome. I know there are also some people who are kind of neutral about talking on the phone, and some of us who really dislike it, right? Mm-hmm. Have you ever experienced that? People not wanting to be on the phone at all?
Absolutely. I just have to be, so I'm going to call.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you just have to be. Henrietta, do you have any idea how many minutes per day American consumers spend on the phone? So we're talking about our members, people out there. Any clue? Do you think it's, under 10 minutes or over an hour? Any idea how many minutes per day?
Probably closer to an hour.
Yeah, it's 41 minutes per day. So, good guess. But very interesting. We want to really jump into our content now, and I'm going to ask you a few questions about winning on a phone call, or, as we mentioned, chatting with customer service, because a lot of times you can go and use the chat feature as well. So when we think about it, there's several places we can start, but I would imagine it starts before you even pick up the phone.
Absolutely.
So tell me more about that. How can we prepare For calling customer service, maybe I've got a question or an issue. How can I prepare before I even pick up the phone to call?
And Christina, I think you said the key word, prepare. We need to prepare to make that phone call by making sure we have the information pertaining to that call, whether it's an account number, a member number, confirmation number, a billing statement, and we need to make sure that we have looked at that to have specific questions that we want to ask surrounding the situation we're trying to get resolved.
Yeah, so having, whatever information to help them, solve your problem, but also knowing, I guess, what it is you want.
Absolutely.
So having those two things kind of ahead of time is going to be really helpful. But what about tips for beginning the call? So when you first, have someone answer the phone, what are you going to tell people for the way to start or open the conversation? What's going to really help them?
Well, I think, first of all, as the caller, you should have some expectations. You should expect to be greeted professionally, pleasantly. You should hear a sense of willingness in the tone from the person that you're talking to on the other end. And you really should be able to hear a smile in their voice. Those are the expectations. So if you expect to do that and hear that, then, of course, you're going to do the same. You're going to call in with a pleasant tone, a willingness to be open to the information that you're presented, even be willing to, if you have to have a callback, if they can't resolve it right away. But you're going to have that positive attitude that I'm talking to an expert, and I'm confident that they're going to be able to resolve my issue.
Now, you said something really interesting, and I kind of want to back up. You said, hear a smile.
Absolutely.
Tell me more about that. Are you saying that if I close my eyes right now, I would be able to tell when you say something whether you're smiling or not?
Absolutely.
Okay, I think we should try it.
Okay.
Ready? All right, so I'm going to just keep my eyes closed, and you go ahead and say something, and I'll try to tell if you are smiling.
Who do I have on the other end of this line?
I'm going to say not smiling.
Not smiling.
All right. You want to try one more?
All righty.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, this is Henrietta. Who am I speaking with?
Yeah, I can definitely tell. You're smiling in that one. So you're saying that it's not just about, the person on the other line. You actually have a lot of control as a consumer picking up the phone, starting out a certain way with a certain tone. With a smile, you can actually impact the way that conversation goes.
Absolutely. You actually can control that call and where it goes, how it goes, and the result of the call, just by the way you interact with that person. Again, you want to have the confidence in the person that you're speaking with.
Yeah.
You want to give them the opportunity to resolve your issue, whether that's being open to a callback, a follow-up, but you want to just be positive and open to allowing that person to give you the best member experience possible.
I love that. I really love the positivity and thinking about going into it with that positive attitude. That makes a big difference. I think all of us should do that probably more often, whether we're on the phone or not.
Right.
All right, so how about tips for just communicating in general? We're talking in this webinar about, calling customer service, but that could be at your bank, that could be your utility company, it could be your phone company, your internet. I mean, there's so many different places we could be calling. It could be you purchased something online and now you're calling customer service. So it's not any one place specific, but just communicating in general. If I need something, what should I be doing, or what should I guess, avoid?
Okay. One of the things, and we go back to the very beginning as far as your tone when you're calling, you're seeking information. So you are asking for some assistance. That's the do. The don't is and we get this a lot sometimes when members may be upset, the demand of, you're going to help me do this, or you're going to do that. Once you do that, that turns the phone call into a different story, because you shut yourself off from really listening to anything except what your expectations are. So you want to make sure that in your communication, you are also willing, presenting that willingness to, again, listen, accept. Sometimes you're not going to get the answer that you want. Sometimes the result is going to be very different than what you thought. But if it resolves your issue, you're going to be open to that. And you're going to keep a positive, positive thoughts and attitude, and your communication is going to be clear and concise.
Well, it sounds like because you could really miss out on some things. But, if I go into something with a demand mentality, I might be missing out on whatever it is that company has designed to give me service.
Absolutely.
Right? So I could be missing out. I could be kind of, one lane focused and not seeing the whole picture, because, who I'm calling, they're the experts. I'm calling them for help, right?
And a lot of times we want to be recipients of the benefits of that organization. And a lot of things, if we don't know, we don't know. If we don't know what to ask, we may miss out. So we should allow that person to engage us in the conversation so that we can get all the benefits of what they have to offer.
Yeah, that's so true. So basically, I need to just ask questions.
Ask questions, listen, ask more questions.
Yeah.
And just be open for resolution, and don't go in with a preconceived thought as far as what you expect and what you want out of the call. It may be better than you ever expected.
That's really interesting. What do you think about using people's names? What does that do?
Oh, I can tell you a story really, really quickly, but I used to, in member service and customer service, you also hire. And I interviewed this one lady one time, and through the interview, she used my name so much I forgot about the skills that I was looking for.
Because it's such a personal touch.
And so everyone likes to hear their name. It gives you the idea that person is truly focused on you and only you at the time. So
that's
using
true.
the names is powerful.
So personalized. And sometimes you think about, from a customer service standpoint, maybe you training your staff, that's something we expect. Like, of course, we're going to use the member's name because they're a member of the credit union. They're important to us. They're a part owner. Right. But what we don't think about is how powerful it could be from the other end, from the member using the, member service agent's name, or for me, calling my water company and asking for that person's name. They may not have heard that all day.
Right.
So that could, lead to me having a better experience. There's a chance.
Absolutely. We all like to feel valued. And by using our names, we feel that it's a value to that member or to that person. Thought enough of us to even say our name.
Right.
So
that's so true. And it's just about respect.
Absolutely.
We're all humans, and we can definitely show that respect to each other. So getting carried away with all these good topics we could talk about. So, the next thing I want to talk about is conflict. What if things aren't really going the way you'd like? Maybe, I followed your tips, but I'm just at a dead end. Things are not going well. I'm kind of getting into this conflict situation with the other person. What is your advice for people?
Remain calm. Absolutely.
If there's nothing else you can do.
Yes. And then, if you're not getting the information that you need from that person, you can ask the question, is there anyone else I can speak to, or is there another way to go about getting the information that I'm asking for? And
I love that you just started again with a question.
Yes.
Right? It's almost like everything you do, even when you get to a conflict situation, it's still taking that question approach and that inquiry approach instead of the demand.
Let me talk to your manager. Because you want, again, both parties have to be open to coming to a resolution. And when you're asking the question, you're engaging that person in that. And so it may be that the person just is having a difficult time relaying or communicating what they need to, and so it's okay to ask for additional assistance.
Yeah, or maybe like if the two of you aren't understanding each other. I know something I've heard, you know, it's probably, I think it was like marriage advice, I'm gonna be honest with you, and totally not related to banking, but I've heard the concept of like restating what you've heard.
Yes.
You know, so like if you guys aren't really getting on the same page, say, you know, if I'm hearing you correctly, you know, here's what I think is happening, and maybe that might be.
It could help as well.
A good route.
Uh-huh.
You never know. It's worth a shot. Okay, so that's talking about conflict, and, you know, when we continue this conversation, hopefully we've gotten to the point where we have some resolution, where we've reached, you know, a point of getting what we needed from the phone call, hopefully. Before we close out the call, what do you think people should be doing?
Well, I think you really should recap. You kind of talked about that a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Recap to make sure that you're leaving with the same understanding that was presented to you. And I like to get the person's name that I'm talking to.
And if you're already using their name, then you know it.
That's right. Exactly. And even asking them if they have a direct extension. And that kind of puts ownership on them. So when you, that's right. When you're the owner of the information going out, guess what? If I value my member, if I value my position, I'm going to do the best that I can to resolve that person's inquiry. So
that is so true.
That's right. I'm giving them my name so they can call back and refer to exactly what we talked about.
Yeah.
And then, you know, always thank the person and let them know that they're appreciated because we all work hard.
Yeah.
You know, and it's always good to let a person know when you appreciate the extra step that they've taken for you, or just the time that they've taken with you to explain something. So express that appreciation.
Yeah, that appreciation, recapping, making sure like we're both on the same page, getting the name of the person, maybe a direct extension. I'd imagine any type of confirmation or follow-up, like knowing what you need to do next, that might be important as well.
Exactly.
Okay, great. So if we had to, like we talked about a lot today, right? We talked about several different ways to approach this winning phone call. If you had to give people one or two things to really take away when I'm getting ready to pick up the phone, what would those be? Your top pieces of advice, if they missed everything else, or maybe people are kind of signing on later and only catching this, what do you want everyone to remember?
Just remember when you're making that call to make sure you're prepared with your information, anything that pertains to a billing statement, account number, confirmation number, and also call with a positive attitude. Have the thought that you're going to get your information, the information that you need, and be open to whatever you received from that person, whether it's a callback, a follow-up. And if you can do those things, you will definitely have a winning phone call.
Wow, well, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Henrietta. Again, everyone, this is our Director of Digital Banking. She is very busy, but somehow I convinced her to take a few minutes and talk to us about how to win on a phone call with customer service, or, you know, if you're doing the whole chat thing, typing in, you know, a lot of these same things could work, maybe not the smile trick.
Right.
Maybe that's one that would not work if you were like emailing back and forth. Maybe put the little emoji, like smiling face. That's how you could do it.
There is tone in chat.
Yeah, see? There you go. We can still do it. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Hope that this was helpful. And always check coppercu.org/events. We've got live webinars, on-demand webinars, and lots of resources for you at our website. We'll see you again soon. Thanks, everyone.